Shalom on the Sabbath day, Shabbatov. Welcome to the Philadelphia Assemblies. Today is the second day of the 11th month in the year 5780. It's the 29th day of January 2021. So we're going to continue our expository teaching today. We're going to be kicking off or starting the book of Ecclesiastes. Okay? And it says, or the preacher, or the teacher. Really, the laborer would have been a better translation. If you look up Strong's Concordance number 5999, it's work or laborer, worker or laborer. I guess maybe servant would have been an okay translation as well. But preacher, according to the Hebrew words, kind of a little bit misleading, I think. But it's obviously referring to Solomon. He is the worker or the teacher here. So we're going to go ahead and open in prayer, as we always do. Almighty Father Yahuwah, we praise you in all things. We thank you for the continual hedge that's been around your believers, Father. We ask that you would continue to protect us from this plague that is upon the whole world and getting worse all the time. We ask for your continued protection. Also for those that are being called, Father, that are, obviously not yet in the truth, but you know all things, Father, and those that will be called. And we ask that you protect those, Father, that need protecting. And Father, we ask that you'd heal those that need healing and give comfort to those that lost loved ones. Father, we ask that your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit, be upon each of us today, Father, as we go into your scriptures and this book of Ecclesiastes, or the preacher, okay, or the teacher. So we ask that you would give us understanding, Father, the same type of understanding that Solomon asked you for, Father, we asked you for here today, that you would continually enlighten us in the truth and help us to be edified and built up in your word. We ask it all in your precious Son, Yahushua's name. Amen. So again, the words of the teacher or the worker, the son of Dawood, king of Jerusalem. Vanity of vanities, saith the worker or the teacher. Vanity and vanities, all is vanity. In other words, everything that we, assume that is makes us somehow better than others or above others, that's all vanity. It's nothing. It said, what profit has a man of all his labor? And that word labor there is 5997. Okay, that's why I am sure that, preacher is not the best translation in that. So what profit has a man of all his labor which he takes under the sun, or he does under the sun? What is it? Because, whatever we do today, it's going to be mowed down in time. It's not going to exist. It'll crumble into dust. One generation passes away and another generation comes. But the earth abides or remains forever. Forever from this age to the next, obviously. The sun also rises and the sun goes down and has to its place where it rose. So in other words, it goes right back to where it came from. The sun actually is not moving. The earth is moving around the sun. But to us, it appears that the sun is moving, and as it did to Solomon in his time. So it appears to go right back where it came up. Verse 6, the wind goes toward the south and turns about into the north. So sometimes the wind blows toward the south, and sometimes it blows back toward the north. And that obviously controls our temperature a lot of times. It whirls about continually, and the wind returns again according to its circuits, okay, to its course. Just like the sun and the moon and all those things. Verse 7, all the rivers run into the seas, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from where the rivers come, there they return again. So It's a continual cycle, and Solomon was wise and saw that. But the reason why he was wise, as we had read earlier back in Kings, was and Chronicles, both in Chronicles, is that he prayed to Yahuwah for wisdom. He didn't pray for riches, he prayed for wisdom. So he got that. The Ruach delivered that to him. Okay? Verse 8. All things are wearisome, or full of labor, it says in King James, but it's wearisome. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. In other words, get enough to hear. It just continues to hear things. Verse 9, the thing that has been, it is that which shall be. You want to know what the future is? Look at the past. That's how you know, because it's a continuing cycle. It just repeats over and over again. And that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. In other words, there's nothing that's happened that hasn't happened before. 10, and also that won't happen again. Verse 10, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? Is there anything that we can say that is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. In other words, it's already happened in times preceding us. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. Pretty self-explanatory. I, the worker or the servant or the teacher, was king over Israel in Jerusalem. And I gave my heart to seek and to search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under the Shamayim, or under the heavens. This heavy task has Elohim given to the ben of man to be exercised or be afflicted therewith. Verse 14. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and chasing after the wind. The King James says vexation of spirit, but that's what it means. We read that against this. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is worthless and is like chasing after the wind. Paul talks about like striking the wind. Verse 15, that which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is lacking cannot be numbered. In other words, that isn't full can't be counted. Verse 16, I communed with my own heart, saying, lo, I am come to great estate, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem. Yes, my heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge, and I gave my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is chasing the wind. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increases knowledge increases sorrow. I said in my heart, go to now, I will prove you with mirth. Therefore enjoy pleasure. In other words, merriment. He says, I will test you with merriment. Therefore enjoy pleasure, and behold, this also is vanity, pleasure, because you can never be full of it. I said of laughter, it is mad, and of mirth or merriment, what does it? I sought in my heart to give myself unto wine, yet acquainting my heart with wisdom, and to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was good, what was that good for the ben of men. He wanted to see if giving himself to wine would be good for the men, for the sons of men, which they should do under the Shamayim all the days of their life. I made great works. I built my houses. I planted my vineyards. I made me gardens and orchards, and I planted trees in them all of all kind of fruits. I made myself pools of water to water therewith the wood that brings forth the trees. In other words, watered the trees. I got me servants and maidens, and had servants born in my house. Also I had great or many possessions of great and small cattle, large and small cattle, grazing stock, above all that were in Jerusalem before me. I gathered me also silver and gold, and the peculiar treasures of kings, and the provinces. I got myself men singers and women singers, and the delights of the ben, or the sons of men, as musical instruments, and that of all sorts. So I was great, and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained with me, and whatever my eyes desired, I kept not from them. In other words, he looked on anything that he desired. I withheld not my heart from my joy, for my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and in this was my portion of all my labor. In other words, everything that delighted him. Then I looked on the works that my hands had done, and on the labor that I had labored to do. And behold, all was vanity or worthless, and chasing after the wind. And there was no profit under the sun, no real profit. You can tell that when you read the Proverbs, the same wisdom that Solomon is departing here, he also departed in the book of Proverbs as well. Okay, and in verse 12, and I turned myself to behold wisdom and madness and folly. For what can the man do that comes after the king? Even that which has already been done. Then I saw that wisdom excelled folly, as far as light excels darkness. The wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. And I myself perceive also that one event happened to them all. We know what he's talking about here. They all died. Then I said in my heart, as it happened to the fool, so it happens even to me. And why was I then more wise? Then I said in my heart that this is also vanity. For there is no remembrance of the wise any more than of a fool for eternity. Seeing that which now is in the days to come shall all be forgotten, and how a wise man dies the same as a fool. Therefore I hated life, because the work that is done under the sun is grievous unto me, for all is vanity and chasing after the wind. Yes, I hated all my labor which I had taken under the sun, because I should leave it unto the man that shall be after me. And who knows whether he shall be a wise man or a fool? Yet shall he have rule over all my labor wherein I have labored, and wherein I have showed myself wise under the sun. This is also vanity. In other words, worrying about things like that's going to happen after you. Therefore I went about to cause my heart to despair of all the labor which I took under the sun. For there is a man whose labor is in wisdom and in knowledge and in skill, yet to a man that has not labored, there shall he leave it for his inheritance. Okay? He'll leave those things for his inheritance to the next generation. I'm adding that. This also is vanity and a great evil. For what has man of all his labor, and of the anxious striving wherein he hath labored under the sun? For all his days are sorrows, and his labor, yes, his heart takes not rest in the night. This is also vanity. There is nothing better for a man than that he should eat and drink, and that he should make himself enjoy good in his labor. This also I saw, that it was from the hand of Elohim. For who can eat, or who else can hurry thereto more than I? For Elohim gives to a man what good in his sight wisdom and knowledge and joy, but to the sinner he gives grief, or travail, to gather and to heap up, that he may give to him that is good before Elohim. This also is vanity and chasing after the wind. Chapter 3. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the Shamayim. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to shun from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. What profit has he that works in that where he labored? I have seen the task which Elohim has given to the ben of men to be occupied in it. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, he has set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that Elohim makes from the beginning to the end. I know that there is no good in them, but for a man to rejoice and to do good in his life. And also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of Elohim. I know that whatsoever Elohim does, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And Elohim does it, that men should fear before him. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be has already been. And Elohim seeks that which is past. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that lawlessness was there. I said in my heart, Elohim shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work. I said in my heart, concerning the estate of the ben of men, that Elohim might make known them, that they might see, or make known unto them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. For that which befalls the ben of men befalls also beasts. Even one thing befalls them. As one dies, so dies the other. Yes, they have all one breath, so that a man has no preeminence or no authority, or he is not above a beast. For all is vanity. Everything we think that somehow we're better than the animals, that's all worthless thinking. Verse 20, all go unto one place, all are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. Who knows the spirit of man that goes upward? And this spirit here is talking about the breath of man. It's not talking about some eternal being inside of you. It's talking about your breath, your pneuma. of the beast that goes downward to the earth, the body. Okay, your breath goes back to Elohim where it came, and the body goes back down to the dust. Verse 22, therefore I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his own works, for that is his portion or his lot. For who shall bring him to see what shall be after him? Chapter 4. So I turned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun, and behold, the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comfort. And on the side of their oppressors there was power, but they had no comforter. Therefore I praise the dead which are already dead more than the living which are yet alive. Yes, better is he than both they which have not yet been, who have not seen the evil work that is done under the sun. Again, I consider all labor and every skill that for this a man is envied of his neighbor. This is also vanity and chasing after the wind. The fool folds his hands together and eats his own flesh. Better is a handful of quietness or peace than both the hands full of labor and chasing after the wind. Then I returned, and I saw vanity under the sun. There is one alone, and there is not a second. Yes, he hath neither child nor brother, yet is there no end of all his work. Neither is his eye satisfied with riches, neither does he say, for whom do I labor? And I bereave my soul, or I bereave it is my great task. Okay, that travail and sore travail is his great task. Verse 9, two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. I mean, two are better than one. So even a man and his woman is better than him alone. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falls, for he hath not another to help him up. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? And if one prevail against him, two will withstand him. And a threefold or a three-strand cord is not easily broken. Better is a poor and wise child than an old and foolish king, who will no more be admonished. For out of prison he comes to reign, whereas also he that is born in his kingdom becomes poor. I consider all the living which walk under the sun, with the second child that shall stand up in his stead. There is no end of all the people, even all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this is also vanity and chasing after the wind. Chapter 5. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim. In other words, stand up, don't sit down. And be more ready to hear than to give sacrifice of fools. Give the sacrifice of fools. For they consider not that they do evil. See? In other words, it's much better to obey than to give sacrifice. Obedience is better than sacrifice. So be ready to hear the word of Elohim than to give the sacrifice of fools. Because that's what they do. They don't listen, they don't consider, and they have to give sacrifice. That's the sacrifice of fools. For they consider not that they even do evil. That's why you can't keep the law and the Torah in the flesh. Okay, verse 2. Be not rash with your mouth, and let your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in the Shamayim, or in the heavens, and you upon the earth. Therefore let your words be few. For a dream comes through the multitude of business, and a fool's voice is known by the multitude of his words. In other words, for as much speaking. When you swear a promise unto Elohim, differ not to pay it. In other words, defer not. It's actually not differ, it's defer not to pay it. If you make a promise, a vow to Elohim, you better make sure you do it. For he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which you have vowed. In other words, do what you have promised. You know, and lots of people make a lot of promises that they don't keep. That's why you let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. If you promise to do something, you better do it with all your heart. Verse 5. Better is it that you should not vow or make a vow or a promise than that you should make a promise and not pay. It is empty not your mouth to cause your flesh to sin. In other words, don't speak and cause yourself to sin. Neither say you before the angel or the Malach. Okay, obviously that would be again what this angel that he's talking about, the Malach here, is talking about the Ruach HaKodesh, the Malach of Yahuwah or Malach of Elohim. That it was an error wherewith should Elohim be angry at your voice and destroy the work of your hands. For in the multitude of dreams and many words there are also emptiness. There is also emptiness, but fear you Elohim. Verse 8. If you see the oppression of the poor and violent denial of judgment and justice in a province, and marvel not at the matter, for he that is higher than the highest regards, and there be higher than they. In other words, Elohim is higher than they. Moreover, the prophet, or also the prophet of the earth is for all. Okay? The king himself is served by the field. He that loves silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loves abundance with much or with increase. This is also vanity or worthless. When goods increase, they are increased that eat them. And what good is there to the owners thereof, saving the beholding of them with their eyes? What is there to gain from that? The sleep of the laboring man is sweet, whether he eats little or very much, but the abundance of the rich will not permit him to sleep, because he'll be concerned about losing it. There is a great evil which I have seen under the sun, namely riches, kept from the owners thereof to their own hurt, to their hurt. Verse 14, but those riches perish by evil effort, and he begets a son, and there is nothing in his hand. And he comes forth of his mother's womb naked. Naked shall he return to go as he came. When he dies, he goes to the grave, he don't take nothing with him, and shall take nothing of his labor, which he may carry away in his hand. And this also is great evil, is a great evil, that in all points as he came, so shall he go. And what profit has he that has labored for the wind? You can't hang on to it. It's just like the wind. All his days also he eats in darkness, and he has much sorrow and wrath with his sickness. Behold, or look, that which I have seen. It is good and proper for one to eat and to drink and to enjoy the good of all his labor that he takes under the sun all the days of his life, which Elohim gives him, for it is his portion, or his inheritance. Every man also to whom Elohim has given riches and wealth has given him power to eat of it, and to take his portion, and to rejoice in his labor. This is a gift of Elohim. For he shall not much remember the days of his life, because Elohim answers him in the joy of his heart. Chapter 6. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, and it is common among men, a man to whom Elohim has given riches, wealth, and honor, so that he wants nothing for his life, or he is in lack of anything that he needs for his life, of all that he desires, yet Elohim gives him not the power to eat of it, but a stranger eats of it. This is futility or vanity, and it is an evil disease. A man fathers 100 children and live many years, so that the days of his years be many, and his life be not filled with good, and also that he have no burial. I say that an untimely birth is better than he. For he comes in with vanity and departs in darkness, and his name shall be covered with darkness. Also, he has not seen the sun, nor known anything. This has more rest than the other. Yes, though he live 1,000 years, twice told, yet has he seen no good. Do not all go to one place. All the labor of man is for his mouth, or to feed himself, and yet the appetite is not filled. For what has the wise more than the fool? What have the poor that knows to walk before the living? Better is the sight of the eyes than the wandering of the desire. This is also vanity or futility, and chasing after the wind. That which has been is named already, and it is known that it is man, neither may he contend with him that is mightier than he. Seeing there be many things that increase vanity or futility, what is a man the better? For who knows what is good for man in this life? All the days of his vain life which he spends as a shadow. For who can tell a man what shall be after him under the sun? No one. Chapter 7. A good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and all the living will lay it to his heart. Sorrow is better than laughter. For by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of joy or of mirth. So, a lot of the hard things you go through life make you a better person. That's what that's saying. The heart of the wise is in the house of the mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of joy or celebration. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. For as the cracking of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of the fool. This is also vanity or futility. Surely oppression makes a wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart. Better is the end of the thing than the beginning thereof. And the patient in spirit or attitude is better than the proud in attitude. Okay, someone that is able to endure or to wait is better than someone that's impatient or proud. But be not hasty in your attitude to be angry, for anger rests in the bosom of fools. Say not don't you say, what is the cause that the former days were better than these? Don't ask why the former days were better than these, for you do not inquire wisely concerning this. Wisdom is good with an inheritance, and by it there is profit to them that see the sun. For wisdom is a protection, and money is an advantage. But the excellency or the advantage of knowledge is that wisdom gives life to them that have it. Consider the work of Elohim, for who can make that straight, which he hath made crooked? In the day of prosperity, be joyful, or be happy. But in the day of adversity, consider Elohim also has set the one against the other, to the end that man should find nothing after him. All things have I seen in the days of my vanity or futility. There is a just man that perishes in his righteousness, and there is a wicked man that prolongs his life in his wickedness. Be not righteous over much, neither make yourself over wise. Why should you destroy yourself? Be not over much wicked. In other words, don't be rich and wicked, neither be you foolish. Why should you die before your time? It is good that you should take hold of this, or pay attention to this. Yes, also from this withdraw not your hand, for he that fears Elohim shall come forth of them all. Wisdom strengthens the wise more than 10 mighty men which are in the city. For there is not a just man upon the earth that does good and sins not. Also pay no attention unto all words that are spoken, lest you hear your servant cursed you. In other words, don't be eavesdropping. For oftentimes, or for many times also, your own ear, your own heart knows that you yourself likewise have cursed others. All this have I proved by wisdom. I said I will be wise, but it was far from me. That which is far off, exceeding, or is very deep, who can find it? I directed my mind to know and to search and to seek out wisdom, and the reason of things, and to know the wickedness of folly, even of the foolishness of and madness. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is a trap and nets, and her hands are as restraints. Whoever pleases Elohim shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Behold, this I have found, says the teacher, or the worker, counting one by one to find out the account, which yet my life seeks, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. Lo, this only have I found, that Elohim has made man upright, but they have sought out many schemes. Chapter 8. Who is as the wise man, and who knows the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom makes his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. I counsel you to keep the king's commandment, and that in regard of the oath of Elohim, be not hasty, or don't be in a hurry to go out of his sight. Join not in an evil thing, for he does whatever pleases him. Where the word of a king is, there is power, and who may say unto him, what are you doing? Whoever keeps the commandment shall feel no evil thing, and a wise man's heart discerns both time and judgment. Because to every purpose there is a time and a judgment. Therefore the misery of man is great upon him, for he knows not that which shall be, for who can tell him when it shall be? There is no man that has power over the spirit, or over his breath, to retain his breath, or keep his life. Neither has he power in the day of death, and there is no discharge in that war. In other words, there's no way you're getting out of it. neither will wickedness deliver those that are given to it. All this have I seen, and applied my heart unto every work that is done under the sun. There is a time wherein one man rules over another to his own hurt. And so I saw the wicked buried, who had come and gone from the place of the holy, or the set apart, and they were forgotten in the city where they had so done this. It is vanity, or it is also futility. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily or in a hurry. Therefore the heart of the men, or the sons of men, is fully set in them to do evil. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear Elohim, which fear before him. See, a fool might be blessed in this life. You might appear to be blessed and enjoy all these things, but believe me, those that fear Elohim will be preserved in the judgment. And that's what Solomon is telling you here. Verse 13. But it shall not be well with the wicked at the judgment, neither shall he prolong his days, past that, which are as a shadow, because he fears not before Elohim. There is a vanity which is done upon the earth, or futility again, that is done upon the earth, that there be just men, and to whom it happens according to the work of the wicked. In other words, they might fall prey to the wicked. Again, there be wicked men to whom it happens according to the work of the righteous. In other words, they might take advantage of the righteous. I said that this is also futility, or vanity, worthless. Then I commended mirth. Okay, mirth or joy. Because a man has no better thing under the sun than to eat and to drink and to be merry, for that shall abide with him of his labor the days of his life, which Elohim gives him under the sun. When I applied my heart to know wisdom, and to see the business that is done upon the earth, for also there is that neither day nor night sees sleep with his eyes. Then I beheld the work of Elohim, that a man cannot find out the work that is done under the sun, because though a man labor to seek it out, yet he shall not find it. Yes, farther, though a wise man think to know it, yet shall he not be able to find it. Chapter 9. For all this I consider in my heart, even to declare all this, that the righteous and the wise and their works are in the hand of Elohim. No man knows either love or hatred by all that is before them. All things come alike to all. There is one event to the righteous and to the wicked, to the good and to the clean and to the unclean, to him that sacrifices and to him that sacrifices not. As it is good, so is the sinner. As he is good, and so is the sinner, and he that swears, as he that fears an oath. Obviously he's talking about we all end up the same way, and that's dust. This is an evil among all things that are done under the sun, that there is one event unto all. Yes, also the heart of the men, or the sons of men, is full of evil, and madness is in their heart, while they live. And after that they go to the dead. For to him that is joined to all the living there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. For the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not. But the dead know nothing at all. Neither have they any more a reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. Also their love and their hatred and their envy is now perished. Neither have they any more a portion forever in anything that is done under the sun. Go your way, eat your bread, and joy and drink your wine, with a merry heart, for Elohim now accepts your works. Let your garments be always white, and let your head lack no ointment. Live joyfully with the wife whom you love all the days of the life of your vanity, of your futility, which he hath given thee you under the sun. All the days of vanity, all the days of your vanity, for that is your portion in this life, and in your labor which you take under the sun. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, for there is no work, nor no planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave. Where you go, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happen to them all. For man also knows not his time, as the fish that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the trap, so the men of man are trapped in the evil time, when it falls suddenly upon them. This wisdom have I seen also under the sun, and it seemed great unto me. There was a little city, and a few men were in it. And there came a great king against it, and attacked it, and built great bullocks against it. Now there was found in it a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city. Yet no man remembered the same poor man. Then I said, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. The words of the wise are heard in quiet, more than the cry or shouting of him that rules among fools. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroys much good. One more chapter. We're going to do number 10 and we'll stop there. Dead flies cause the ointment of the apothecary to send forth a stinking odor. So does a little folly him that is in reputation for wisdom and honor. So it just takes a little foolishness to spoil someone that's seeking after wisdom and honor. A wise man's heart is at his right hand, but a fool's heart is at his left. Yes, also when he that is a fool walks by the way, his wisdom fails him, and he says to everyone that he is a fool by his actions. I'm adding that. If the spirit or attitude of the ruler rise up against you, leave not your place, for yielding pacifies great offenses. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceeds from the ruler. Folly is set in exalted places, and the rich sit in low place. I have seen servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. He that digs a pit shall fall into it, and whosoever breaks a hedge, a serpent shall bite him. Whoever removes stones shall be hurt with them, and he that splits wood shall be endangered by it. If the iron be blunt, and he do not sharpen the edge, then must he put to more strength, but wisdom is profitable to succeed. Surely the serpent will bite without enhancement or encouragement, and a babbler is no better. The words of a wise man's mouth are gracious, but the lips of a fool will swallow him up. The beginning of the words of his mouth is foolishness, and the end of his talk is mischievous madness. A fool also is full of words. A man cannot tell what shall be, and what shall be after him. Who shall tell him? The labor of the foolish wearies every one of them. In other words, Someone that speaks foolishly, you get tired of it pretty quickly because he knows not how to go to the city. Woe to you, O land, when your king is a child and your princes feast in the morning. Divinely are you, O land, when your king is the bin of nobles and your princes eat in due season for strength and not for drunkenness. By much laziness the building decays, and through idleness of the hands the house drops through or falls in. 19. A feast is made for laughter, and wine makes merry, but money answers all things. Curse not the king. Do not in your thought. In other words, don't even think of it. And curse not the rich in your bedchamber. For a bird of the air shall carry the voice, and that which has wings shall tell the matter. And we're going to go ahead and stop right there. Well, you know what? We're not either. We're going to finish this. I don't know what I was thinking. There's only 12 in Ecclesiastes. Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. Give a portion to 7, and also to 8, for you know not what evil shall be upon the earth. If the clouds be full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if the tree fall toward the south or toward the north, in the place where the tree falls, there it shall be, or there it lies. He that observes the wind shall not grow, and he that watches the clouds shall not reap. As you know not, or you don't know what it is the way of the wind. Got spirit in the King James. In other words, you can't tell which way the wind blows, nor you can't see it anyway, nor how the bones do grow in the womb of her that is with child. Even so, you know not the ways of Elohim, who makes all. In the morning, sow your seed, and in the evening, don't withhold your hand, for you know not whether you shall prosper either this or that, or whether they both shall be alike good. Truly the light is sweet, and a pleasant thing it is for the eyes to behold the sun. But if a man live many years and rejoice in them all, yet let him remember the days of darkness, for they shall be many. All that comes is vanity or futility. Rejoice, O young man, in your youth, and let your heart cheer you in the days of your youth, and walk in the ways of your heart, and in the sight of your eyes. But know you that for all these things Elohim will bring you into judgment. Therefore remove sorrow from your heart, and put away evil from all flesh, for childhood and youth are vanity or futile. Chapter 12. Remember now your Creator in the days of your youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw near, when you shall say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, in the days when the keepers, or the lips of the mouth, and that's why it says the keepers of the house. Actually, it should be better translated, the lips of the mouth shall tremble, and the legs shall bow themselves, and the teeth cease because they are few, and these and those that look out of the windows be darkened. And the ears shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the sound of no teeth, and he shall awaken at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of the music shall be not heard. Also when they shall be afraid, the thoughts of God, and fear now of death, and the Let's see, instead of almond tree, what does we have here? Gray hair shall flourish. The gray hair shall flourish. And the slightest weight shall be a burden. And the sexual desire shall fail or end, because man goes to his death, okay, to his long home, to his death, and the mourners go about the streets. Or even the spinal cord be loosed, or the throat be broken, or the cranium be broken at the fountain, or the heart be broken. Then shall the body return to the earth as it was, and the breath shall return unto Elohim who gave it. Vanity of vanity shall the worker or the teacher, all is vanity, says the teacher. And moreover, because the teacher was wise, he still taught the poor knowledge. Yes, he gave good heed and sought out and set in order many proverbs. The teacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. The words of the wise are as challenges, and as nails fastened by the master of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. And further, words of truth, my son, be admonished. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is weariness of the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For Elohim shall bring every work unto judgment, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. And that's the end of the book of Ecclesiastes. And I'm sure if we read it 10 times, we would still not glean all the wisdom of King Solomon. And it is very, very, very much a book of wisdom. We're going to stop it there, and next we'll jump on the Song of Solomon. And if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, we'd very much appreciate it if you would press that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. Give us the thumbs up and share this video again if you liked it. And may Yahuwah bless until we meet again.